Pranam. Today's topic is an impromptu one that we had to do because of the fire that Kalki 2898 has created. And why not? There are a lot of characters that have opened the forgotten chapters of history. There is Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya. There is Kalki, the 10th incarnation of Vishnu, who is going to end Kali Yuga and usher in Satya Yuga. There is Kali, who is responsible for propagating adharma throughout the world. What if I tell you there is a fourth character, the base of the story that binds all of them, and that is Bhairava? It starts and it ends with Bhairava. And this is what we will be talking about today. If we look at them on a superficial level, the story is about Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama, who was given the boon of immortality by Shiva when he was born, who is regarded as the partial incarnation of Shiva, who had a diamond in his forehead in the place of his third eye that was snatched away by Lord Krishna when he was cursed by him in 3200 BC. Shri Krishna had cursed him that he would wander throughout the world or throughout eternity and pray for forgiveness of his sins, which is what he has been doing. There have been numerous sightings of Ashwatthama throughout the years that we will be talking about in our story. But the main question is, where did all of this start? So we will be looking at the whole thing from three angles: Bhairava's angle, Ashwatthama's angle, and Kalki's angle. The origin of all of this began during Samudra Manthan, when Halahal, the poison that could burn the entire universe, appeared, and the gods, the yakshas, everybody fled. The devas, the gandharvas, the danavs, the manavs, all of them along with Brahmaji and Vishnuji came to Shiva asking him for help. Now, in order to save the universe, Shivji consumed Halahal, but his throat started burning and he was not able to control the pain. From his body, or from the poison that he had ingested, came out Vishpurush, and he folded his hands in front of Lord Shiva. It was then that Shivji told him that Vishnuji and me did not let you kill anybody now, but in Dwapar Yuga, you will be reincarnated and you will get the chance. With my blessings, you will be able to kill the oppressive Kshatriyas. You will be born as Bharadwaj's grandson. You will be born in a Brahman household, but you will be attracted towards Kshatriya nitis. Ashwatthama was the son of Guru Dronacharya and Kripi. Both of his parents were Ayonis, that is, they were not gestated in the human womb. Dronacharya got his name from Drona, that is, he was gestated in a vessel made of leaves. Kripi was the daughter of Rishi Sharadvan and Apsara Janpati. From his paternal side, Ashwatthama was related to Maharshi Angiras, and his paternal grandfather was Maharshi Bharadwaj, as per the prophecy. Now, Drona had meditated to Lord Shiva to please him, and he had asked for a boon that his son would be born as an incarnation of Lord Shiva. The boon, combined with the events during Samudra Manthan, led to the birth of Ashwatthama with a gem on his forehead. He had the boon of being a Chiranjeevi, immortality. He had power over all living beings. The money protected him from hunger, thirst, and fatigue. Now, Dronacharya led the very simple life of a Brahmin with very little money or property, as a result of which Ashwatthama had a very difficult childhood. The difficulties were so great that at one time they couldn't even afford milk. Wanting a better life for his family, Drona had gone to Panchal kingdom to ask help from the king of Panchal, King Drupada, who was his friend and who was the father of Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas. Over there, Drupad had refused to give him or help him in any manner, and he had even rebuked their friendship, saying that a king and a beggar could never be friends, humiliating Drona. this was the start of an enmity that would be the cornerstones for the Mahabharata war. Now, Dronacharya was the Shishya of Parshurama. He was already an expert in the skills of warfare. After this incident, his brother in law, Kripacharya, took him to Hastinapur, where Bhishma Pitama appointed him as the teacher of the Kauravas and Pandavas. As a form of Guru Dakshina, he was able to reclaim half of the kingdom of Drupad later on. It was through the Pandavas, and the anger against Drupad and his family remained. It was further intensified when Drupad's son Drishtidumna killed Dronacharya in the Kurukshetra war. If we look at the scene of events from that time, three things happened at that time that incurred the wrath of Ashwatthama. First of all, his father Dronacharya was killed by Chal. Chal, in the sense, Sri Krishna knew that there was no other way to kill Dronacharya or to defeat Dronacharya and the Kauravas. So, what he did was he kind of told the Pandavas to say that Ashwatthama has died, or they said Ashwatthama Hatata, meaning an elephant named Ashwatthama had died. That confused everyone, and Dronacharya thought that it was Ashwatthama who was dead, and he gave up his weapons. In that state of meditation, when he was in the state of meditation, Drishtadyumna beheaded Dronacharya. That was a chal, even though by Sri Krishna, but that angered Ashwatthama. The second thing that happened was the death of his best friend Duryodhana. The third thing was the knowledge of his father had been insulted by Drupad, and it was Drupad's son Drishtidyumna that killed Dronacharya. That anger and his jealousy of Arjuna pushed Ashwatthama to the limits, and he decided to destroy them. He promised a dying Duryodhana that he would destroy the Pandavas, and he set off towards their camp in order to kill them all. On reaching the camp, he was greeted with the sight of 1,000-eyed demon guarding the camp, which was none other than Mahakala Bhairava. On realizing the identity of Bhairava, Ashwatthama knew that there was only one way in which he could gain access to the camp. He offered himself as a sacrifice to Mahakal Bhairava, and that kind of led him to get the blessings of Bhairava. He further received the Chandraha sword of Bhairava, and with that, he charged inside the camp to kill the Pandavas and everyone fighting on behalf of them. Again, there were three mistakes he did that incurred him the curse of Sri Krishna. First mistake, he killed the Upa Pandavas, the children of the Pandavas, when they were sleeping. That is against the rule of war. Second mistake, after this, he went to Rishi Vyasa's ashram, and there, when the Pandavas came looking for him, he incurred the Brahmastra even though he did not fully know how to use it. A Brahmastra is a weapon that, if used, can destroy the whole creation. Both Ashwatthama and Arjuna had knowledge of the Brahmastra, but Arjuna also knew how to withdraw the Brahmastra. Ashwatthama had half knowledge. He did not know how to withdraw the Brahmastra. When he set off the Brahmastra at them, it was Ashwatthama who first set the Brahmastra that he created from a blade of grass towards the Pandavas, and in retaliation, Arjuna also set his Brahmastra. Brahmaji came in between and he intervened, and he said both of them to take it back or the entire creation would be destroyed. Arjuna withdrew his Brahmastra. Ashwatthama redirected it into the womb of Uttara, the wife of Abhimanyu, who was carrying the child, or who was carrying Parikshita, the son of Abhimanyu. His largest mistake, killing a fetus. While his second mistake, letting off the Brahmastra without knowing it, was bad enough, this was the fatal mistake that made Sri Krishna extremely angry. The Shiva Purana states that Sri Krishna was confused as to what to do when all of these events happened, and he prayed to Shivji for help. It was on the advice of Shiva that Sri Krishna directed his Sudarshana Chakra to intercept the effects of the Brahmastra that Ashwatthama had directed towards the womb of Uttara before it could harm the fetus. The fetus was saved, but Sri Krishna was very, very angry, as were the Pandavas. Bhima snatched away the money of Ashwatthama from his forehead. Sri Krishna cursed him with the bane of immortality. He had the boon of immortality. Now it became a bane for him. It was Sri Krishna that cursed him, that the very boon that has been given to you will become a bane. Now you will roam around the world for 3,000 years as a leper, and you will pray for your death, but it will not come until Kalki appears. And throughout the century, several people have recorded the appearance of Ashwatthama in different parts of India. Prithviraj Chauhan, in his book Prithviraj Raso, mentions his meeting with the great warrior. Saints near the Narmada river have observed a very tall man with a noticeable wound on his forehead sitting by the river. Even in the recent years, he has been seen by several people. Pilot Baba, a retired army personnel who travels or who has a lot of experiences about the Himalayas, has mentioned that there is a particular shivling near the Himalayas where Ashwatthama regularly visits and offers flowers and his prayers to Shivji. Vasudevananda Saraswati has recorded the appearance or his meeting with Ashwatthama in 1912. A doctor in Madhya Pradesh recounts his experience at having an old man visit his clinic with a noticeably terrifying wound in the middle of his forehead that wouldn't stop bleeding. Despite the doctor trying very hard, the wound was very, very fresh and it did not heal. To which the doctor jokingly asked, "You must be Ashwatthama because this wound is not healing." According to the doctor, no sooner had he turned that the old man vanished and he was never seen again in that region. The prophecies that he is present are true, and he is going to be present until the arrival of Kalki in this world. And before we start talking about Kalki, we have to talk about Kali, because Kali is why Kalki, or the 10th avatar of Vishnu, is going to appear in this world. After the period of Pralaya was over, Brahma decided to create the world. From the heart of Brahma grew Dharma. From his back grew Marine Pataka, or Adharma. Adharma had a wife called Mithya, and they had two children, Dambha, vanity, and Maya, or illusion. Dambha and Maya had a son called Lobha and a daughter named Nikriti, meaning dishonesty. Lobha and Nikriti produced a son called Krodha and a daughter called Himsa, or violence. Krodha and Himsa's son was called Kali, who ruled over Kali Yuga, or who is the perpetrator of Kali Yuga, and he in turn produced Bhayanak, Mrityu, and Yatana. None of them had any noble feelings and they started wreaking havoc and creating destruction throughout the world. They created animal like lust among the population. The Brahmanas started steering from their noble path. The Kshatriyas turned into dacoits. Sons started disrespecting their father and elders. Friends became enemies. Disciples began to defy their masters. There was chaos everywhere. In the first phase of Kali Yuga, the people started condemning the deities, even Sri Krishna and other supreme deities. In the second phase of Kali Yuga, they had completely forgotten the name of God. By the third phase of Kali Yuga, all the progeny were devoid of their clan and lineage. And by the time the fourth phase of Kali Yuga had come, yajna, god worship, ritualistic worship, chanting the name of God, everything had disappeared from earth. The rule of the deities is that they receive their nourishment from the yajnas, and when they failed to receive the yajna nourishment that they used to get, they went to Brahma along with earth in the guise of a cow. Brahmaji sent them to Vaikuntha, the realm of Vishnuji, and there Vishnuji said, I will help you out. Brahmaji explained the scheme of events that was going to happen. Hari would be incarnated to Vishnu Yasha and his wife Sumati in the village of Sambhala. Lakshmiji would be incarnated as Padma to the king of Singhaladvipa. Her parents would be Raja Vrihadvatha and his queen Kaumudi. There is a slight twist here. Now the events are being recorded as they have already happened. The Kalki Purana states things that are yet to happen in something that have already happened. So if we quote the words of the Kalki Purana, Kalki has already been born. Kalki would be born in Vaisakha Masa, 12th lunar Tithi. He will receive his training from Guru Parshuram. Following the advice of Parshuram, Kalki will proceed to Vilveshwar Mahadev's temple and invoke the blessings of Shivji, who will give him three things: a horse named Devdatta, a parrot named Shuka, and a sword named Ratnamaru. The horse has been manifested from Garuda. It can go anywhere and it can assume any form. The parrot can tell the past, the present, and the future. Ashwatthama and the six Chiranjeevis, Hanuman, Vyasamuni, Parshuram, Vibhishana, Kripacharya, and Mahabali will help him in different ways while waging the war against Kali. We also have to understand the nature of the war. In Satya Yuga, war was waged between two lokas, Devaloka and Asura Loka or Danava Loka. In Treta Yuga, war was waged between two nations, Ayodhya, Bharatvarsh, and Lanka. In Dwapar Yuga, war was between two different clans of the same family, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. In Kali Yuga, the war will be waged against the enemy that is within us. Everybody has a Ravan inside them that encourages them to steer from the right path and in order to commit heinous crimes. This is the evil that we will have to fight against in Kali Yuga, and that Prabhu Kalki will help us in fighting. And let me tell you something very interesting. Despite it being a future event, every year we celebrate Kalki Jayanti on the bright fortnight of the month of Bhadrapada Masa. And this year it will be falling on the 10th of August. Chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai on this day, chanting the Hari Strotam along with the Vishnu Sahasranama can bring punya to the sadhak. Most importantly, on this day, do not forget to chant Om Bhairava Namaha because Shiva is the starting and Shiva is the end of everything in this world. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any doubts, please ask me and please tell me any discussion that you might have in the comments.